Standard notation is a way of writing down all of the notes that exist on almost any musical instrument. And learning to read it is an amazing skill because it unlocks so much about understanding music regardless of the type of music you like to listen to and regardless of the type of music you want to play. Whatever your instrument is, it is best to memorize the series of the 12 notes that exist first in order to understand music notation. Because music notation is a way of writing down all of the notes that exist, and all of the notes that exist are simply repetitions of these 12 notes. So, onto the series of the 12 notes that music notation is used to write down. 7 of the notes are called natural notes. They are A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And the other 5 notes are called sharp and flat notes. There's a sharp and a flat pair between all consecutive natural notes apart from B and C and E and F. This means the note between A and B is called A sharp and also B flat. The note found between C and D is called C sharp and also D flat. Between D and E we have D sharp, which is also E flat. Between F and G we have F sharp, which is also G flat. And finally between G and A we have G sharp, which is also A flat. Again, notice there is no sharp between B and C and E and F. These 12 notes then simply repeat at higher or lower levels, and each repetition of the series of 12 notes at a higher or lower level is called an octave. Once you have memorized this series of 12 repeating notes, you can start to learn about standard notation. Standard notation uses 5 parallel lines, which we call the stave or staff. Onto the stave, we add a clef, which is a symbol that defines what notes the lines and spaces represent. There are 3 main clefs, and each clef has 2 names. The easiest name to learn is the one they take from the line which we generally consider to be their starting note. For example, focusing on the clef used to write down music for guitarists, ukulelists, and the upper notes of the piano, as well as many other instruments, this is called the treble clef, or more simply, the G clef. And this clef's starting note is G. The G clef tells us that the second line from the bottom of the stave will be used to represent the note G. We can add notes onto the stave with its G clef, and on the stave the natural notes A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are set out like this. Notice if you go up a line or a space, then you go forwards in the series of notes, and if you go down a line or a space, then you go backwards in the series of notes. Again, notice that the series of notes repeats. The natural note after G is A, and the natural note before A is G. The sharps and flats are then modifications to these basic positions. This is a sharp symbol, and this is a flat symbol. As I already stated, each sharp is a flat, and on the stave they are written differently. But on your instrument, each sharp and flat pair are found at the same place. What that means is, for example, C sharp is also D flat and can be written either as a C sharp or a D flat on the stave. But on guitar, for example, C sharp and D flat is the same note. Both notes are found at the same fret. Fret 2 of string 2 is C sharp and also D flat. On piano, for example, the black key found between C and D is C sharp and also D flat. This idea is the same for all non-natural notes. That is, each sharp note can be written as its equivalent flat note and vice versa. The concept that on your instrument a sharp can be the same as a flat or a flat the same as a sharp is called harmonic equivalence, for anyone that likes technical words. If you don't like technical language, then let's just ignore the donuts out of that for now and move on. But what all this means is that you need to learn the names of the notes on the stave and then where each note is found on your instrument. To help with the first part of the problem, that is, memorizing the positions and the names of the notes on the stave, I recommend my Note Maestro app, available for both Android and iOS. A link will be in the description to this video. I especially recommend my app if you're taking lessons with a teacher, because that will save you money. Because you spend so much time in lessons that you're paying for in order to learn the names of the notes, when you could do it in your dead time with Sound Tuition's Note Maestro app. Once you have learned which line and which space represents which note, then you are more or less in business. As I keep reinforcing, the series of 12 notes simply repeats both on the stave and on whatever instrument you are playing. So the note after G sharp, which you now know is called A flat, is A. Put more simply, the series of notes repeats A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. And then you just need to remember the sharps and the flats between all those notes, apart from B and C and E and F. Any note that is higher or lower than the stave will allow us to record gets an extra little line added to it. And these extra little lines are called ledger lines. Or in Finnish, they're called apuviivat. But the general idea is still the same. If you move up a line or a space, you move forwards in a series of notes. And if you go down a line or a space, you go backwards in a series of notes. The final thing we need to learn about is duration, because music is made from the notes and then the rhythm of the duration of these notes. The duration of each note is shown by the way in which the note is written. This is a 4-beat note, a 3-beat note, a 2-beat note, a 1.5-beat note, a 1-beat note, a half-beat note, and a quarter of a beat note. For example, to write down 4 even E's, which can be created by playing the first string of a guitar, the music would look like this. Because the position of the note is in the E space, and the notes have all been written as 1-beat notes. This would sound like this. The same music played on the piano would sound like this. To play one F that would last for 4 counts would look like this, and sound like this on guitar, and sound like this on piano. Compare the 2 exercises I have just played and notice the difference in the height of the notes on the stave and how the way the notes are written affects how long each note lasts. On the topic of the length of the notes, notice there are 2 numbers at the start of the music after the G clef. These 2 numbers form what is called a time signature. And this tells us the total duration of the notes we're allowed before we have to have a vertical line, which is called a bar line. Bar lines split the written music up into chunks or units, which make the music easier to read. Once you've watched this video a few times and feel you've understood all the elements I've spoken about, then watch my video specifically on time signatures. As a final example, I'm going to use Happy Birthday, but remember, standard notation can be used to write down and learn to play any music regardless of the style. Rock, pop, jazz, EDM, film music, anything you like to listen to can be written down and also learned how to play from standard notation. Here is Happy Birthday written in standard notation on a stave with a G clef. Notice the time signature has changed from 4/4 to 3/4 time, and whereas there was a bar line every 4 beats in the last 2 examples I gave, there are now bar lines every 3 beats. And it sounds like this on guitar. And it sounds like this on piano. Notice I can play the same music from the same written music. That's easily the best feature of standard notation. It is universal, and anyone that can read music can play it on their instrument. We don't have to learn a new system each time we learn a new instrument. I'm constantly amazed at how humans got this system so right. Standard notation is so accurate and expressive once you've learned how to read it and use it properly. Well done, humans. There are plenty of extra features you need to learn about to read music well, and I'll cover those in more detail in other videos in this series. But for now, in my opinion, that's the best ratio of information to time invested. You need to watch this video a few times and get yourself a good music book or a good teacher to get the most out of this video. Also, I can't recommend enough my Note Maestro app if you're new to the idea of reading music. So go and download that. It contains 0 ads. If this video hits the spot for you, then let me know what else you'd like me to create a video about. And as always, enjoy learning and have a great day. Differently. But on your instrument, like, maybe don't go downstairs while doing this. Woo! As I already